In this video, I'm going to go over the different ways we can add text to a drawing. So text is right here. So there's two different types of text. There's single line text and multi-line text. Talk about single line first. So single line, the alias is DT. I can pick it here. When I started out, it tells me the text style that's current, the current text height, and then it asks me for a start point, or I can justify it or style. We'll go over the justifies later when we talk about mText because you can kind of see a list there. And we'll talk about styles later also. So I'm going to pick a start point, and now it asks me for a height. So I want to tell it a height of 0.12, enter. Now it asks for an angle. How do I want it to go? Do I want it to go out to the right, at an angle somewhere, straight up? I'm going to go out to the right, and I can type. And you can see that it's typing symbols, not letters. And that's because the font that we're using is set up so that lowercase letters turn into symbols and uppercase letters actually are the letter. So this list here shows me the lowercase letter and the associated symbol with it. And this is available in the class website. So if I turn on caps locks, then I can type. Here is some more. And here too. So I can type a couple lines. I can type some numbers to get some other lines. I can move back and forth between it. I can go in here and change. If I misspell something, I can right click on it and see if there's a suggestion. And I did a really bad job of misspelling that. That's supposed to be second. So just never found it. So I can do all my editing here, and then once I'm done, just go down to this bottom line, hit enter, and it shrinks it to the right size. And now if I click on them, they're all individual lines. So I can grab them by the grip and move them wherever I want to. I can also control how far apart they are just by moving them up a little bit, or using my entry and saying 0.04, moving it that much closer so that I can really space down something. And so dText is the way I really like to do it. So DT, start point, height, angle, do some typing. I can also just click, type, and get text kind of all the way around a drawing as I want to, and then enter to get out of it. mText, on the other hand, is kind of just a block of text. It's always going to stay together, which is both good and bad, depending on what you want to do. So when I click, it's going to kind of define an area for this text to fall into. So I'm going to click there, and types a couple lines of text. And you can see as I get out of it, it all stays there. If I pick on it, it selects it all. I have these little arrows here where I can grab it and actually bring it in and change how it's going to break up that piece of text in the lines of the text. If I double click on it, I get back into it, and I can see that I have a tab that comes up that was there when I was typing it also. But I can do a lot of things in here. I can kind of change the lines individually, so I can change this line to be a 1/4 inch, and it kind of keeps track of the different heights you've used. So I can do that. I can go into justification, and these are the same justifications that were there with dText. So on dText, if I'd gone in and said J for justification, I could have said TL, which is the default, or TR, ML, or MR, or BC, the bottom center. Now it holds it by this bottom center point. It kind of depends on how I want to hold it and how I want it to line up. I can, in mText, now I can also add bullets and numbers. So I can make that a bold list or a numbered list. This line is too high, kind of messing stuff up, so I'll bring it back down. I can go back in, take that line out, I could also go in here to symbol, see my degrees, plus or minus, diameter, put those symbols in. Or I could go down to other and see a dialog box with all the symbols that are there. If I was in dText and I wanted to get the plus or minus, the degree or the diameter, I'd use with that same kind of a, it told me the shortcut here. So if I go to symbols, %% would give me degrees, %P gives me plus or minus, and %C gives me diameter. So let's go ahead and do that. DT, I'm going to go ahead and justify these, so J for justify. I get the list here, so TL top left, top center, top right, middle right, bottom left, bottom center. So I want to do it bottom center. Pick up my point. Yeah, that's a good height. Yeah, that's a good angle. And so I can type, then %C gives me diameter. %D gives me degrees. %P gives me plus or minus. When I hit enter, type my second line, I can just keep typing enter, enter again. Now when I click on it, you can see I've got a grip here at the bottom center also. So I can use that to move stuff around also. So that is the text commands. As I said before, the way the text looks is controlled by the style. So if I go to Annotate tab, I can see that it's the Roman style. I also have one called Standard. But if I click on the little arrow here in the corner, I get to the text style dialog box. I can see those here also. So I can see that the Roman Standard has the GDT font selected. So that's the one that gives me capitals as letters, lowercase as symbols. I can also see some other options here, so I could have an annotative option. I have a height, and our height is 0, and that's really important. If you change this height to anything else besides 0, it means you can't change it later on. It's going to be that all the time. So when you go into dimensions, they're not going to scale correctly. It just causes problems. So leave that height at 0. You can also make it upside down, or backwards, or vertical. And usually you don't want to do that, unless you're maybe doing stuff that's going to be engraved on the back side of something or something like that. The width factor controls how wide the letters look. Oblique angle gives us kind of an italic look. But there's really no reason to change the text style on a normal basis.